we live in this community, we're part of this city. The city gives us our name so that our identity is part of our home where we are. I think the Hong Kong Arts Festival is in, of, for, and about the city in which it is situated. And that's very deeply embedded in the DNA. So it's reflected in all our programming, in the way that we select work to show, because that has to make sense for the people who are in Hong Kong who will see it, whether they are the artists that we want to work with and will further work in Hong Kong, or whether they're artists coming in. Our audiences, because of their enormous financial stake also in the festival, since they account for close to 50% of our total budget, with local sponsors, corporates, donors making another 25% or so, and the government the rest. I feel very much that we co-own this, that I'm hired not just by the festival office, but I'm hired by all of them, and I serve all of them. I serve the artists, and I serve the audience, and my job in putting this festival together, my team, is to make the conversations happen. The Hong Kong Arts Festival deals in the performing arts. Performing arts have to communicate, and the communication is between the artists and the audience. If the artists are there talking to people who either don't know, don't care, don't have a clue, or would rather not be there, the conversation doesn't happen, the communication doesn't happen. We have a fabulous audience in Hong Kong. They are knowledgeable, they are well-traveled, they're also highly critical. They know what they want, and I am very often made aware of this. They ask very probing questions, and they help me to do the job better. So I can't get away with very much. I can't get away with rubbish. So I don't even try. And that conversation keeps us grounded, keeps us honest, and keeps us serving the city. In terms of the city and being part of Hong Kong, I think we are. We certainly seek to represent what Hong Kong is, to express what Hong Kong is in its diversity, in sometimes its craziness, in its bilingualism, in its dual culture. From 150 years as a British colony, where we were part of this pink part of the world, Then there was a moment in time where our color, I guess, deepened, and we became part of this red part, which is communist China, as a special administrative region of this large power. The transition was just from one day to the next. Life continued, but of course life can never be the same. On top of which, as we ceased to become a colony and governed out of Whitehall, we were endowed with, bestowed, a kind of limited democracy. Very mature democracies know that this is a complicated concept, and even more complicated in execution. So as a 15-year-old democracy in a well-developed city, which is also a financial center, with a very vibrant and very questioning and very, very, very self-aware kind of cultural art scene, this is the environment that we work in. So all of those identity issues, all of those our place in the world issues, internal, external issues, surface, and we try to reflect and add to the conversations about some of those, not all, some of those issues. And from time to time we also program with special reference to topical events or whatever is of particular interest to the community at the time, like for instance hosting the equestrian events for the Beijing Olympics. So we had a big equestrian show. Normalization of China-Japan relationship. We had a China-Japan co-production. We didn't do those productions as a consequence of the political realities, but we did them because these are people we wanted to work with anyway, and so it was a question of timing, and it was opportunistic in the timing, and it gave us another level of relevancy to the community. And I think it's important. If you're part of that community, You have to be a part of it in a whole bunch of different ways.